Yeah. Well, I mean, just the idea, we kind of arranged the songs as a band in the last group where we would all kind of, we'd bring in ideas and then everyone would kind of flesh them out and figure out how the parts should all go and the drums and stuff. We never really did that in that much detail in that band or at all. I mean, I think we contributed ideas, but in this group, all the songs, we had to learn how to arrange the all the parts and the bass and the drums and the way everything would go in a way that we never had tried to do before. So definitely that, and I'm trying to think of some. I mean, we took on some other elements of songwriting that we hadn't done before, like a lot of electronic stuff. The other band was pretty straightforward instruments and not many synths or electronic elements at all. So that was one thing that we kind of got into when we started the new band. Can you think of anything else?
Horn parts.
We arranged some horns, just really basic stuff. But and then going into the EP, that was a whole other process because we recorded that with a different engineer and learned more about the Trust EP that we made was completely analog in that we recorded it all to a 24-track tape machine, and it never went back to a computer, which is different than the way we've made the two records we've made. They've been mixed and sort of edited on a computer. So learning how to record and mix a record entirely from to tape and from one reel of tape to another to be mastered, and so that was kind of another cool thing to learn how to do. So yeah, I don't know. We always pick up maybe one skill every year. I could definitely think. I definitely remember the feeling being much more self-assured. I mean, because we've talked about this before, but the first full length that we made was the first record that we've made just as the two of us. So we went into the recording process with a lot of question marks about how much we could do or if we could even finish it. We might get to a point where we realized that we just didn't have a skill that we needed to make this record because we had never tried before. So I know going into the second one, I definitely felt or knew, just carrying around the knowledge that we could finish it.
Yeah, like we had made one.
We had at least done it once before.
Yeah, right.
So I think that made me feel more confident just as being in the studio, and I think that definitely informs the way those songs sound. A certain amount of self-assuredness. Yeah, that's absolutely true. There's still a few elements that we have to really figure out how to do live, but that was definitely something that we ran into a lot after the first record we made, which was the process was to go into the studio and just follow whatever impulse we had, regardless of how difficult it would be to reproduce that on the stage. So that did create a lot of headaches for us to figure out how to play a lot of the songs that we recorded. So, and I think just over the course of playing a lot of shows over the course of 2009 and 2010, before we recorded the second one, I think we just got to be in the mode of playing as a live band and thinking thinking in a certain framework about how songs are going to be, or better ways to write songs so that they'll translate to the stage. So I mean, I think that was definitely a factor in the songwriting of that record. He was in a band that we both liked a lot called the Oranges Band, and we were big fans of his before we even knew him. And then we have friends we have mutual friends who we were able to sort of get introduced to him and meet him, and he was just a really knowledgeable guy, and he's also he's really close to us in age, and we have a lot of stuff in common. So it was a pretty fast friendship, I think, for the three of us, and he's just really good at making records, and he's got a certain bedside manner about it to where he can get a good performance out of you without it's a tricky thing to do, because you want to, as a producer, I think you want to have a high standard about what's an acceptable take or what's the best way to do something, but you could crush someone's confidence and then you'll burn a week if you if you do it wrong or you kind of get off to the wrong foot with somebody. And he had a pretty good way of hitting that, striking that balance.
Mm-hmm.